Another thing about Shovavim is that since the sins that hold back the redemption, many tzaddikim had the custom that during Shovavim they would say longer divrei Torah by the Hasidic tzaddikim, particularly. Let's say the Dvar Torah by Shalashudas might say the Satmar Rebbe on regular Shabbos might be an hour, but Shovavim might be 2-3 hours. And the Satmar Rebbe particularly focused on comparing the sin of Pagama Bris to the sin of Zionism. This is because both of them hold back the redemption. The Gemara says very clearly that Mashiach will not come until there's no Jewish government. It's very clear. It's the Gemara in Sanhedrin, page 98. And so this tremendous sin that they set up a phony government, an anti-Messiah government before Mashiach, is holding back Mashiach from coming. Mashiach would have come already if it wasn't for this government. And so too, that's another thing we have to focus on during this period of time, is to cleanse our minds of the heresy of Zionism, because it's totally against the teachings of the Torah, and it's preventing Mashiach from coming. And the Satmar Rebbe spoke much about this. I read one rabbi who I respect very much. He said that during Shovavim that Murphy's law is in control. Another rabbi who I know, he said he heard of this idea of Murphy's law, a great rabbi from Jerusalem, Tzvi Zilberberg. He said that, and I don't want to mention the first one because it was Tzvi, he wasn't referring to what this other rabbi was saying, but he said that the concept of Murphy's law is heretical. You can't think that things are going to go bad. And Rabbi Zilberberg is the one who pointed out this from Maggid Masharim, that the angel told Rabbi Yosef Karo that during this time is a tremendous time of love, a tremendous time of mercy. We can accomplish more during Shovavim than we can any other time of the year, because it's hidden in secret. Most people never heard of it before. The practices of Shovavim, like I mentioned, many people would fast. In the old days, many people even fast every day. Nowadays, we're not strong enough to fast. So many different practices which we do. Common among many Hasidim is to fast on Thursday, or some on Monday and Thursday. The old Satmar Rebbe himself used to fast on Friday, but all his Hasidim, mostly, if they could, would fast somewhat on Thursday. Another custom is could fast half a day. Is the Jerusalem Talmud Menachos talks about fasting half a day. But again, many of the Hasidic tzaddikim disapproved of fasting. As an alternative to fasting, there's of course charity, which the Tanya speaks about at length, of how you can even give more charity beyond a tenth and beyond the 20th. The obligation is to give a tenth, and usually the limit is a 20th. But if it's in place of fasting, you could give beyond the 20th also to charity, and that could come in place of fasting. And interestingly, there's a custom which I saw by many Kabbalists. I saw this by Daniel Frisch, Zechron Levracha. I saw by in Mei Sharim, and I saw by Bad L'chaim Tovim, Gamliel Rabinowitz, Gamliel Kain Rabinowitz, in Geula, and also in America by some Sephardic Kabbalists, various ones. I remember Rabbi Mordechai Deri I met once, and he had the same service, was that he would have the service of the Shovavim service, which would include various Kabbalistic intentions and meditations and so forth. And then you would fast that day, part of the day, and then you would give an amount of money to tzedakah to redeem the other fasts, and it should be considered if you fasted for 84 days. In some places they would do is they would have a certain amount of money set aside, and you would buy it for a lesser amount of money, whatever. You could buy the money, put the money in to buy this, and you buy these just like we do, like for Machzah Shekel. You pick up this large amount of money and give that to tzedakah, and then it's considered as the Tikkun Shovavim as if you fasted as if you gave that much money to the tzedakah, which would be equal to fasting for 84 days. You should note that the mitzvah of Pidyon Ben, which is a very rare mitzvah, doesn't come up so often, because how many people have their firstborn as a son, and how many people, neither the father or the mother, are a Kohen, or a daughter of a Kohen, or a Levi, or the daughter of a Levi, and how many have a natural birth. And so those few, Bnei Yisrael, firstborn sons, natural birth, you get to do the mitzvah of Pidyon Ben. When you eat from a suda of Pidyon Ben, it's as if you fasted for 84 days. So if you happen during these days or any time to be invited to a Pidyon Ben, you should take the opportunity. I remember one time I was walking down the Chovio in Meisharim over by the Stolen Beis Medrash, and one of my friends, Talmud of is Rabbi Yirmiyah Zucker. He's the Talmud of Moshe Wolfson. He grabbed onto me, Yitzchak, come in. This is going to be Pidyon Ben. We went in. It was Yerushalmi family having a Pidyon Ben, and we saw the mitzvah done. And he said, quickly, eat something, make a bracha mezainis on a cookie, something. And he said, 84 fasts. So, and there's, by the way, if you yourself maybe are firstborn male, and both your parents are Jewish, and neither of them are Levites or Kohanim, and not your mother's father, also not a Levite or Kohen, and you didn't have this mitzvah done as a child, and you're firstborn and so forth, and you it was a natural birth, you also have the obligation to do it yourself if your parents didn't do it. And I remember in yeshiva, a few of the Bachrim also did this mitzvah for themselves. So now might be a good time to do it. To fulfill this mitzvah, you're obligated to do it, to give a certain amount of coins to a Kohen. You can find out more about it, and to redeem yourself. And then all the people who are around you make a party for it, in a suda, you wash and have food, have meat. Then everyone who's eating there, or even who eats leftovers from there, also is considered they fasted for 84 days. This is a very good thing. Another custom particularly observed in the Sephardic community is the Tainas Dibur, which is a fast from speaking, like a vow of silence for a certain amount of hours. And this is observed in many places, but in the Sephardic community they actually have, which means you're still allowed to pray, and you have to say the prayers, and you're allowed to study Torah, but you're not allowed to say anything else. And one custom is actually to recite the whole book of Psalms 3 times during the Tainas Dibur, and to give tzedakah as well. To do all 3 at once, give tzedakah and fast during the day, and say Psalms 3 times. It's a tremendous thing. Any one of these things are good, or even if you don't do any of them, to do something for Shovavim is very good. I know it's a wonderful thing now that many communities which did not observe Shovavim now are starting to make this a time to review the laws of family purity, which are very complicated and need constant review all the time. I remember a friend of mine, he told me he remembers old Kasher Rav, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, Berfol Blum, old Kasher Rebbe, and he said he saw him sitting with a group of old men studying the laws of family purity. Now, first of all, none of them would applicable to them anymore. They were too old, their wives were too old, and they all knew it already, but they were studying it because it's Torah. And so it's anyone who's married already should always be reviewing these laws, so they can familiarize with them, especially this time of the year is a good time to study. Alright, well, we should be worthy to make a tikkun for Shovavim. It's a very painful subject, and we all fall short, so we should be worthy to have a tikkun and to have a good year of tshuva, ma'asim tovim, and make the most of these tremendous times.